Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of October 20th through the 24th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from October 13th through the 17th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. This is my 99th gap and go video. Now I'm going to start with Tsly. We ended the day at $8.38, up 2.07%. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at $8.47. Above that at 3 standard deviations takes us to 856. And should we be so lucky as to get to this level, that would be $8.65. And if we do get there, you know what's going to happen. You can expect it. Now, to the south side, that will take us back to an area we've been before. I will mark that out right about there. Oh, let me change that to purple. And this line, all we are doing is retracing. So I will delete this line, and I've already looked at it. To save some time, I marked this out in June. I'm going to delete it. And that hot pink line is a line that I bought in. So I still own this lot right here. Now below that, oh, and by the way, that is support. If we hit that level, I will anticipate a bounce off of that line, or we will continue to go down. We are in a downward channel on the 5. Now, another level of support, another potential buy-in area, another potential stop loss area, $8.11. Below that, at another level of support and another potential buy-in area, another potential stop loss area. It depends on what side of the line you bought. At 802 is the target. And then below that, 795. Ignore all these other horizontal lines. The purple lines are, I'm tracking it week to week. The hot pink lines are my buy-ins. The green lines are my sell orders. Now let's take a look at the previous week. What happened? Well, we started here. We ended at 838, and that is a return of, let's take a look, or 838, right about there. That is a 3.81% return. You can tell that's not a huge swing. That's pretty decent, though. Beats putting your money in the bank all day long and getting 0.5%, is it even, if you're lucky? All right. So there is a gap. We gapped up the beginning of the week. So what goes up must come down. And we touched, well, did we actually touch? Let me make this a little bit bigger. No, we did not touch. That looks like it looked like it did, but it did not. So this gap to the downside is still in play. That will haunt us into the following week at 808. And it will start at roughly 824. So if we get to this, I will anticipate a bounce off that, but we can still continue down. And I sold some here to get out of a trade and made 0.97%. Better than the bank. And this gap opened up and it touched right there on Tuesday the 14th. So that is no longer in play. Delete. We got here. This is resistance, and you know what's going to happen there. We sold off. This is your buy signal all around, all down here. Your buy signal, your buy signal. On the way up, that's resistance and your sell signal. And that is a clear sell signal. And this gap, oops, I sold some here at 1.43% to get out of a trade so I can rebuy in. So we are looking forward to this gap fill, and that will take us to 845. I put my gaps in green. Let's change that color. I don't like that color green. I like that one. It's a little brighter. All right, what else is happening? So I've already cleaned that up. And we have a gap down to 733. That's a little off the mark. There. I think that might be the end of the gap. Oh no, here we've got gaps. I've sold this ticker many, many times. All right, and I own Tsly at $7, $7.15, $7.60, $7.65, $7.70, $7.72, $7.75, $8.09, $8.29, and $8.33. I do have some higher as well. $8.83 when I bought a long time ago, and then the market's tanked. This is why, if you cannot afford to lose money, you need to set a stop loss, and that I'm horrible at doing. But do not do what I do. Set a stop loss. Preserve your capital, because the market will tank on you. All right. The next one, I'm going to move this along here. Oh, let me plug in my battery. Okay, we are at 1303 for Rivn, up 0.93%. Oh, let me mark out resistance. And that is an area we've been to before. I marked that out on Friday, October the 3rd. So since we're so close, I'm just going to get rid of it. I don't even need these lines. The yellow lines are from 2024. So we are just retracing back to 2024 levels. The 52-week high is 1715, and the days range on the high side 1322. All right, to the north side, resistance 1308, and then an easy target within the range here 1351. The outlier, don't expect this to happen, 1373, and down the road 1393. And one level of support. Now this old line will also act as support as well as this line. But that's 1266, 1246, and 1224. Don't hold your breath for a price to get to this level. This would be definitely a buy signal. Just like, see how this bounced off this line? You're not going to get it all the time, but that's right on the money, as well as this line and this line. So last week, we started off the week at 1280. Even though we're in a downward channel, we ended up at 1303. And here's your sell signal. This is resistance as well. And this gap opened up and it closed. Let's make that a little bit bigger so you can see. There, 1305. Congrats. And this took us down to 1315, and I'm going to say it touched right there. Did it touch at the previous wick? No. See, when you make it larger, you can tell. Okay, that is not a win for this wick. It's for that one. All right, and since we're in a downward channel, with some upside potential, obviously. 1458 to the north side. We are moving farther away from that as well. And this gap will take us down to 1139. Let's move that. Okay, the next one I want to go through will be Nike. Okay, we ended, option R here, we ended the day at 67.37, up 0.79%. Oops. And here we are at the middle of the trend, so I will mark that out. And that needs to be moved as well. Resistance, take profits, sell limit, 68.72. 70.07, and down the road, you can't see it. Oh, sorry, red here. See, this is why I color code everything. Red, white, and blue. That way I know to look for it. 68.73, let me do that again, roughly 69.41, and don't hold your breath, 70.07. Oops. That should actually be down just a tick. All right, support, one level of support, many levels of support and resistance between -2 and 2. But -2 takes us to 66 roughly, 65.36, or no, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Red, white, 65, 35, 36-ish, and 64, 67 for another potential buy-in area. But then look at this. We've got this gap to be aware of, a landmine to the south side, or if you like to go short, and 58.38 down the road as well. And do we have any other gaps? No, I don't think so. And I'm missing a line here. I probably snapped a thumbnail, so I removed this. There. Now I am whole and complete. To the upside, we've got gaps that will take us to 79.0304-ish. Well, let's just delete that one. Oh, and the yellow lines, again, that's from 2024, so we're even moving farther away from that in 2025. So that's what you get. You go woke, you go broke, and Nike got punished. But there's a lot of upside potential too, according to the analysts. And I don't know if I want to buy this, but the one-year price target is 83.31, which represents a 23% return on your money, if you can stomach getting whipped around. The next the next ticker is Boeing. Option R to help me reset. 212.94 is where we ended, up 0.50%. All right, and look, we just ended back where this line was. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. 2 standard deviations. Price stays within -2 and 2 all day long. Anything outside of that is an outlier and a signal to either buy or sell if you just do technical analysis and you trade like a robot. So here is your level, 214.20, 215.28, and if you think this can eke out some more on Monday with the wick, 216.44, or perhaps another time. Now, this is support. We could bounce off this line and chop sideways or continue to go down. 209.75, 208.64, and 207.49. If you mark out these levels and it hits where I say it hits, leave me a comment. Let me know. That gap closed to the downside at 211.04. Delete. No longer in play. That was a gap fill to the south side, and that was a buy signal. This is a sell signal. We fell down back to a buy signal, went up, touched here, bounced off of it again. And this gap, I happened to just draw it, and it actually kind of touched where it needed to be marked, but it's actually right there. And that took us to 215, I put 28-ish, or 32 really, give or take. It's the idea. Mark it out yourself. All right, look at this. This is, I don't care what the news is. This is your sell signal. It just coincided with some bad news, or people just took their profits and they ran. They locked in and they left you in the dust. All right, and you've got gaps to be aware of to the downside if you like to go short, coming up down to 199.21 for Boeing. All right, let's go to NEO. Option R. 675 is where we ended. Down. This is the only ticker in the red on Friday. So resistance, 678. Stop, sell limit, 684, 690 to the south side. One level of support as well as this line will be support and this line, but I will anticipate a bounce off of both of these lines to go sideways or continue our slow path down. Price has to go through the middle of the trend. This is like, think of it as the resting place to get to the downside, or from the downside back to the upside. You have to rip through the middle. So that's why you anticipate those bounces off of here. 654, 648, 642. Now looking left, beginning of the week, we were at 671. Look, we ended at 675, but there's always that opportunity here. We went up. Okay, that's your sell, your sell, your sell signal. We grinded sideways. You had multiple opportunities to get out, and then boom, it got you out. And then here was your clear buy signal. Okay, then we went up and then we went sideways. This is resistance. We went through. This touched for this line, which became support on the way down. This is your sell signal here. This is your sell signal, your sell clear. I'm showing you the obvious sell signals. And look at this. Oh my gosh. Look at this rug pull all the way down here to 628 on the 16th. And then this gap closed to the upside at 682. All right, the next thing we're looking forward to is this gap. Okay, so you could do, I mean, if you're playing very conservatively, which sometimes I do, you can go 675 to 682, buy in down here or down here, and then just let it ride to 682 and set your sell limit at 682. Sometimes I go 683, 1 or 2 pennies, and then it doesn't sell out. You're like, gosh darn it. So that's the problem. Or sometimes it takes a couple of runs to close that out. All right, and then we've got a gap up to 717 down the road and many other gaps. But right now we're still on the downward slope on the 5. Flip it over to the daily, the weekly, the monthly. It'll give you different buy and sell signals. And what else? To the south side. Okay, 555, 574. Oh my goodness, 446, 393. Look at all the levels that I've already marked out in the yellow from 2024 and in purple from 2025. All right, I think that was the last one. Yeah. Okay, the next time I do this, this will be my 100th gap and go video. So should I just end the whole series at the 100th gap and go? That is something I could do and just end it there on a nice number, 100. All right, that will do it for me. If there's a ticker you'd like me to go over, please let me know, and have a fabulous trading week.